Hey, everybody. One of the things that I've learned about living with a chronic health condition is that sometimes you're going to have to make some changes to what you're doing and the way you do things in life. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world, it's just a part of the process and something that you need to do. Like, for example, I like peanut butter a lot, but because of my condition, it's not in my best interest for me to have peanut butter. So, okay, if I have to get rid of peanut butter, what can I put in its place so that I can still get that satisfaction? I can use other nut butters that are not peanut butter, and there's lots of other nut butters. So, sunflower butter is a good enough comparison for me so that if I wanted to replace that peanut butter, I could use sunflower butter. There's hazelnut butter and all that too, but all that other stuff has a different flavor. But I'm talking about using more of like an exchange theory so that I'm able to get that same enjoyment out of it and not really be missing out on anything. Another thing is like I really like sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes, yams, they're not the best for my kidneys. I can eat it, but yeah, we can do anything we want to do. But there may be consequences at times for the things that we do. So knowing that my kidneys would not be very happy with eating yams or sweet potatoes, I had to find an alternate, a substitute that would work and satisfy that particular need in me. So what I did was tried out some different things, and I found that delicata squash has a nice sweet flavor, and it's very reminiscent of what I would taste with yams or sweet potatoes. So, making that exchange, taking out the sweet potatoes, which I do love, but having the delicata squash. And you might say, well, what's the difference? What's the big difference? Why can't you just have both? I can, but there are consequences because certain foods carry phosphorus in them. Um, Certain things have phosphorus or too much protein or other things. So sometimes, in order, like once your kidneys are compromised, that means that your body is just gonna, it's a different process for breaking foods down and cleansing the blood because it's all about the blood. It is about the blood. And your blood needs to be cleansed in order for you to be able to function and live a healthy, productive life. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm focused on living a healthy and productive life. And so, can't have the sweet potatoes now. Love sweet potatoes. Love them. But I can have that delicata squash. And that was a great thing that I learned this fall because I've had lots of different squash and they're all different, spaghetti squash or whatever. But delicata squash is like, I'll try to upload a picture for you. It's longer like a cucumber, mostly yellow with maybe some little ridges in it, but it tastes a lot like a sweet potato. And I learned about the delicata squash through the community cooks programs. The Appetite for Change that I talked about, where I get those boxes every week trying out something new. That's a positive that came out of Appetites for Change for me because I'm getting some, there's a lot of things that I'm familiar with because I eat everything, or I used to eat everything. So, but this was a type of squash that I had never encountered before. And it's really good. I don't like mixing it with having meat put in it and all that weird stuff. Let my squash be squash. But it's really good. And so here I found something that will help me in my process of being as healthy as I can be. And that's something that I can do for myself, and I can share it with my family or my friends. You know, I hope that you find some new things that you can do for yourself. Not just eat to be eaten, but you can still enjoy what you eat. Even if you have renal disease, even if you have end stage renal disease, even if you're on dialysis, even if you have chronic kidney disease, there are still things that you can eat. And I was doing some searches last night too. And you know what I learned? I learned that DaVita, which I always thought of them as just the dialysis people. Sorry about the label, but that's how I knew them, from people's experience in the community. But they're all about the kidneys. I guess I should call them the kidney people. Um, they not only help people in that process of dialysis, they also have a website online, DaVita, DAVITA. You can look it up. They have free kidney diet information, which is awesome. They talk about the 5 stages of chronic kidney disease: one, two, three, four, five, what's in those stages, what you can expect. They have digital recipe books that are all free. You can download them, print them, or whatever, with really good food. So it's not that it's the end and then just have to say, oh, there's nothing I can eat. No, there's some really good options. And I've talked about Lee Ho before and his book. Well, I got the one book of his, and hopefully I'll be able to go back and order the other 2 books. Uh-oh, sorry. I'm always bumping this camera. But, supporting, Stopping Kidney Disease Food Guide. See how those pictures are? They're bright, they're colorful, full of information, recipes with pictures, nutrition facts are even at the bottom of the page, so you know what you're getting and you know what a serving is. And the DaVita website, it even has recipes for, like, if you're at that Super Bowl Sunday time, and everybody's doing the thing where they're eating the buffalo wings and this and that, and they've got their dip with their celery and their this and that. There's recipes for even that, and it's not just something that, oh, you have to have a renal disease to eat that. No, anybody can eat that stuff. It's good for you, and it tastes good. Anyone can eat that stuff. The recipes are really decent. So I'm very excited and encouraged by these new resources that I have, which I'll continue to share here on my channel. And yes, I did write a book um, on living with chronic kidney disease. I just don't have the money right now to get it published. So as soon as I'm able to get that together, I'd like to be able to have that out there where people can have access to it digitally or in a print version. Digitally is nice because then anyone around the world can be able to access it. But the print version, I like things in print because I like being able to hold things. I like being able to put bookmarks in, dog ear my pages, highlight and underline, question mark. Oh, I'm going to go check on this and then go back and give some responses or other things that I've learned. So that's why it's a little longer of a process, because that takes cash and I'm not making any money here on YouTube doing any of this. So it's just cash coming out of my pocket. Now, if you want to raise some funds for me to put that book out, you can, but that's not my purpose of being here. My purpose of being here is just to share information with you and to help you as I'm continuing to learn and grow myself through this walk. Try the exchange theory for yourself. If there are some bad habits or some unhealthy foods or things that you have in your life, or if you're going through a some physical challenges and you need to make some dietary changes, the exchange may be a way to help you through that process. Just exchanging the delicata squash for the sweet potatoes. Just push one out, bring the other one in. The flavors are very similar, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. If I felt like I was missing out, then it becomes a problem because then I'd want to cheat and go and sneak and have this and that and everything else. No, I don't feel like I'm missing out. Eating good for my body, keeping the body moving. You know, this is the month of November, and I'm also doing this walk your dog a mile a day for 30 days for the National Kidney Foundation. I'm raising funds, but that is through Facebook. So if you look me up on Facebook, you can put funds in that way. I have no access to the funds, it doesn't benefit me at all. But there are some kids that are dealing with what I'm dealing with right now. And so the funds that are being raised through the National Kidney Foundation are to put things in place to help children that are dealing with renal disease and chronic kidney disease. There are some children that have to make major changes in their life at a time when they should just be running and playing and not thinking about all that stuff. So, if you want to give to that, it's going through to the end of the month. You can look it up on my page on Facebook, Dr. Danette Phillips. It's there. Um, and you'll see my face, but the picture is more like my YouTube picture that I have here with the dreadlocks. It's before I took out the dreadlocks and cut my hair and went through that major transformation this past March. Um, but I've already done 13 miles so far, and the goal was to do 30 miles this month. So it's probably going to be kind of a breeze for me because I do walk a lot. But if you can walk more, move your body more. Hey, I don't have a dog, so even though it's called walk a dog a day, I don't have a dog. I'm just walking. You can walk your dog a day for that mile or whatever, but do something positive that impacts more than just your own life. Try to help somebody else. But do also take care of yourself at the same time in the process and make those changes. You know, it doesn't have to be a train wreck of changing everything all at once. But if you progress and you continue to make those changes, it's like having a head of cabbage or, or an onion. You got to peel off that outside layers, peel off the bad stuff so you can get to the good part that you can use. And that's where we're at today. Peeling off that other stuff so you can get to that good part that you can use. And I gotta tell you, I was at the store this morning. I won't say what store it was, but I was at the store this morning just looking in the healthcare section, and there was a lot. It was very difficult for me to find the one thing that I actually went to the store for. And when I was ready to give up and leave, I looked and way down on the bottom level, there were like 4 or 5 packages of it right there. And I was relieved, but it was difficult to find. And cans of soup are high. No, I wasn't trying to get cans of soup for myself because I can't deal with the sodium in the cans. Even if it's a can that says it's low sodium, it's better for me to just make my own soup, my own broth or whatever, than to deal with the processed stuff because the processed stuff tends to be more of a problem for people like me. Saying this, of course, not as a medical doctor and I'm not an attorney. I just like to throw that in case somebody says, well, you, blah, blah, blah. You're Dr. Phillips. My doctorate is in clinical pastoral counseling, okay? It's not anything medical. It's all more about the mind and living through transitions and crises. That's the kind of doctorate that I have. But I don't even really like present that a lot on here. That's just on a day-to-day thing. But maybe I will sometime, but not right now. But cans of soup were high. Little, just regular little everyday cans of soup were high. And then you look and it's like, okay, should I buy this one can of soup for someone that I know that can really use this? Or should I get this package of 6 or 8 ramen noodles? I don't know how many come in the package now for $2.19. The $2.19 won out over getting the one can of soup. That's how high things are now. I remember when you could get a can of soup for like 50 cents. I remember when you can get a package of 10 to 12 ramen noodle packs for $1. But now there's less and less and less in the packs, and the price has gone up and up and up. It's that whole shrinkflation. That's what I like to call it. Times are getting tougher. I hope people are really preparing. Seriously. And I know I say it a lot, and people are like, yeah, 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 blah, 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 blah. Until they go out and they see there's nothing on the shelves. We tend to live on the day by day and just muddle along through life. But if you're able to, when you're shopping, look at your prices. Compare your prices. Because sometimes when you go to ring your stuff up, even though you picked it up and it said that it was two for $6, 2 bottles of juice for $6 or whatever, they may be charging you that $4.50 per bottle, and instead of paying the $6 for the 2 bottles of juice, you might be paying $9 at the register. So as it's getting rung up, watch the price that rings up. And if it's not just the price, if you're not being rung up by a cashier, and if you ended up being the cashier doing the self checkout thing, watch the price that rings up. Because if it rings up not right, raise your hand or something. Get the attention of a staff person from that store and say, hey, I got this back on Blase Skippy shelf and it said da da da. But it's not ringing up that. I need you to correct that for me. They can run back and check and find and make whatever corrections. But don't let your money just go out the window. It's kind of like just putting money, like having a grip of money. This is like 15, 15 or 20 years ago. I was in St. Paul, getting in my car. I don't remember where I was at, if I was leaving work, whatever. It was a long time ago. I think it's good that I remember that it happened 15, 20 years ago. This guy is getting in his car and just took this wad of cash, stuck it on the roof of his car while he was trying to open the car door and put bags and stuff in the back of his vehicle. Got in his car, closed the door, drove off. Money goes flying. And I'm looking like, seriously? He did not realize that he had left his money on top of the car. But believe me, cars are stopping everywhere and people were grabbing and picking up this money. And here I am trying to wave the guy down and let him know, you just let your money blow away. And he came back and he said, that was my rent money. Sometimes we can be so caught up in the day to day and everything that's going on that we're not really focusing on what we're doing or what's important right in front of us. And his rent money blew away that day because he put it on the top of his car while he was trying to put stuff in his car, and his mind was so distracted that he forgot what was important right there. Let's try to not forget what's important in our lives, our families, our children, our loved ones, even somebody that may have gotten on your last nerve. They're still important. Treat every day like it's your last because we all have a time that's coming. And none of us knows when our last day will be, but we want to have positive memories of the last time we were with people. We want to have long, strong healthy, productive lives. Or that's what I would think. And if you can't have everything that you want, hey, stick a flower in your hat and move on. Because we got to keep things as positive as we can, do the best that you can, smile because it does make you feel better, laugh, put on a crazy pair of socks with ho-hos or Twinkies or Tony the Tiger or whatever. That's what I do. 6 out of 7 days out of the week, I'm wearing a crazy pair of socks. This morning, I don't have any socks or shoes on, so. But normally, yeah, I wear crazy socks every day. I wear them with a dress. I wear them with a skirt. I don't wear pantyhose. I wear crazy socks because if nothing else, those socks are going to be my pick me up. When people want to flip me off in their car when they're going down the street, or people want to say crazy stuff, or do stuff, or throw stuff at me, or call me nasty names, I got my socks that keep me smiling. And then there's other people that may see my socks. If my pants are a little too short or high water, or if I'm wearing knickerbockers or whatever, people can see my socks. And maybe it'll bring a smile to their face too. Do what you can with what you have. That's what Prepper Princess would say. Make the most of your day and try to bring a smile to somebody else's face too. And remember, even if it's a day when everything goes bad or everything goes crazy, this too shall pass. Just endure. Just endure. I think I'm going to go make some coffee now, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you for joining me. And think about that exchange theory. And, if you're on a renal diet or you just got some bad news about your health and life changes and all that, look into what you can do positive for yourself. Be your best advocate. Love you all.